everybody, how are we all doing today? And yeah, so we're back for another round here at Hungary and racing with the F2 a lot today. As you can see, we have the lovely round 2 F2 Constructors Championship. It was a crazy race after Singapore. Lots of DNFs, lots of wheel-to-wheel action, and a lot of, you could say, crashes on track. But it's Campos with Viper and Suffocating. They lead the way with a whopping number of 84 points. And P2 in the Constructors, I'm not too sure how you pronounce that name, but they are not, I would say tied, but around about 67 points. So Brizardin Dogs aren't that far off of catch up to Campos, but they may have a little bit more work to do if they want to get anywhere closer to challenge for that P1 spot. And of course it's Asetek with Therapy McQueen and James Mustang with around about 60 points to their name, 7 points away from P2, so they'll be hoping for a very good result today to boost them up potentially into P2 and potentially P1. But at the moment, the way Viper and Suffocating have been through the last 2 rounds, they've been quite stellar on their performance, so I think they'll extend the lead a little bit more. And then in P number 4, you have Prima Racing, the wonderful Tatus, and Mr. Maverick himself. They are on 53 points. Like I said, they aren't far away from P3 or P2, so we could see a lot of teams fighting left, right, and centre, especially for the constructor positions. And then you've got Carlin down in P number 6 with 4 points to their name, and ART, a Grand Prix, is the lovely OG Goatland, known as GG Lad, and he is on a whopping number of 10 points. Currently on his own, as you see there on the drivers lineup, but to be honest, we've seen drivers in the past make some incredible point systems and big moves and good races. We could see them make their way, I wouldn't say to P4, but they could seal P5 in the championship if they keep their way going. And obviously Dams, Trident, PHM Racing, and the one at the very bottom, they are nowhere to be seen because they haven't been filled out yet. So they're all on 0 points, etc. But hopefully I've done this correctly, because I named this as the F2 Drivers Champ, kind of like tables, but it's given me the constructors of the teams instead. So hopefully the team standings should be a little bit different. Fingers crossed. Thank goodness, and never mind, I praised way too much and it is exactly the same, which of course we love to see. So there you go, we'll get up on the board very quickly. There are your point systems so far for the teams, and I know it's a little bit big, so I'll fix that next time I go live on the channel. But as we see, it's time to get to the main screen of it all, and it's time for some F2 action for round number 3 at the lovely circuit of Hungary. Let's see what the drivers can bring for us today. And if you have a favourite driver for this evening, do feel free to let me know, and I'd love to hear who you're rooting and supporting for. We're going to also see who we're riding on board with today. Yeah. Who's it going to be? As we wait for around about 60 seconds on the clock, so drivers get enough time to put setups on the car and crack on with some bits and bobs there. Because, you know, why not? Like I say, we're just waiting very patiently, and then we should get green flag conditions very shortly. So like always, do bear with, and trust me, it won't be too long. So, I hope. Yeah, like I keep saying, and always will, hope everyone's doing fantastic in the chat. There's your timer warning. So in around about 24 seconds time, it'll be a quick qualifying session of one-shot quali, and then that will set the grid for the, I believe it's the sprint race, which is a reversed grid, I believe. And yeah, I think the reverse grids are the featured. I'm not too sure. I think it is. This hurts my brain, chat. Okay, just putting it out there. And we're on board with, ooh, wrong button. We were on board with I'm gonna get bored with GOVEE, actually. I know I'm not meant to do this, but I can do what I want because I'm commentating. So here we go then. Down to turn number 1. Rob McQueen taking a very nice, you could say, wide line. Just a little bit. I am just trying to find buttons here and get that off my screen. And everybody on the soft tyre. We don't really need to see that because we hopefully know everyone should be on the soft compounded tyre. Rob McQueen then making his way up to turn number 4 and then turn number 5 very, very shortly. A 30.9 in the first sector. Fastest driver on the track in the moment. And suffocating, sitting down in that P2 position. And then Brizan rounding up the final podium position with that P3. Maverick in P4. James at P5, Viper at P6, but James having a bit of a fight with Brizan, bring it to the top, seeing where he could possibly go. The top 2 flickering left, right and centre, so it could be a pretty close lap time between Rob McQueen and Suffocating, as just a fraction there. Suffocating did go to pole position, and Rob McQueen not fastest in sector 2. Suffocating have a very good final couple of corners, but Bobby's managed to steal it back, but we'll see what happens rounding the final sector now, turn 13, and then towards turn number 14 very, very shortly. Rob McQueen takes a wide line than he usually does. Is it going to be, though, for pole position across the line? And it's not. At 29.079 and Suffocating at 29.050. And I have to say, chat, that's probably Suffocating's best qualifying lap time I've ever seen in the history of Phoenix. But in the F2 lot, Suffocating, I believe, takes his first podium pole position of the season, and we're only on round number 3 here at Hungary. 2 Brits on the pole, and only separated by 29 thousandths of a second. That is absolutely insane. And then Brizan in P3 for, you could say, 4 tenths off of P1 and P2, and then you could say Maverick isn't that far away from Brizan, about a 10th separates them two, and then it's James, and etc, and etc, and etc. But that was a lovely qualifying position to watch. Suffocating and Rob McQueen going head to head, battling it in qualifying with a one shot, no disturbance on track, and I'm guessing it was just who kept it tidier and cleaner. And unfortunately, Wobby thought he was going to be in for a challenge here and take a comfortable, I'd say, pole position, but Suffocating managing to snatch it away. And now we'll get into the lovely sprint race and see what the drivers can, how do we say it, masterclass, that's the word. But like I say, if you do have any predictions that you want to let me know, feel free to let me know right now, and we'll see if you're correct or potentially wrong. But if not, sit back, relax, and we're going to get the lovely 5 red lights here at round number 3, season 11 Hungary, and it's lights out and away we go. And also a reverse grid order for the sprint race, and it's a very good start for Notor in that P1 position, but GG lads, maybe tempted to go down the inside there, as it is front wing damage for one of the drivers there. I'm not too sure who it is, and oh my goodness, carnage, someone is round again, and who is the victim of that chaos? We've got Jinho down in P number 10. He looks like he's come out worse with big damage to his name, and yeah, we're under a VSC at this moment in time. Just realized that about now. Suffocating, oh, he's got a bit of front left wing damage. That's definitely not ideal. One McQueen, our championship leader, I believe. And has he got damage? I'm trying to look out for it now on screen. Yes, he has. His right winglet is missing. Brizan also missing his right winglet. Lots of drivers missing, you could say, their front wings here. It was a good start for the top 2. GG went down the inside as usual. Viper into P3 and keeping that position for now. And someone has gone off track completely, and that is Jack Games. Oh, he's kind of just got straight into prison there, so that's definitely not ideal. So the stewards may have a look at that one, but the virtual safety car is out, and we should get green flag racing very, very shortly. But like I said, it was a very good start for the top two. GG Land just being a little bit more, I could say, lick the stamp and send it, and a little bit later on the brakes gets that move done. Green flag racing now. GG takes us back under racing to complete lap number 1 here. There's chaos at the back of the grid with One McQueen trying to get past Suffocating. And there's more contact and more chaos behind. And that is Prison and Chin around at the final corner of turn 14, both with damage and into the pit lane. Those two not having a great race so far. Same with Jack Games down in P at number 8. But One McQueen really gaining him, Suffocating, going down the inside at turn number 1, trying to keep that momentum, keep the position. But Ollie with the switchback potentially, is he going to hold it around the outside? He's going to go for the switch, and Wobby just should be as cautious as he can and try and be a little bit better on the brakes. But these two really going at it now. Pulling to the right hand side is Suffocated, trying to go on the outside, going wheel to wheel with his contender for the championship, and Suffocating up into P6 on McQueen down to P7. Maybe those two struggling with damage just a little bit. Viper strikes over 1.1 is the gap to himself and P at number 2. But GG Lad getting a bit squiggly, getting a bit, you could say, wobbly on those set of tyres, only lap number 2, and not finding it very, very comfortable. And time penalty going awards to Jack Games, 3 seconds for corner cutting. Definitely not ideal, but the top two, I believe, with no front wing damage to their name. Same with Viper, same with James, and the same with Maverick. But everyone down below has got a bit of hefty wing damage to their name. But Viper, if he could hold on here, lap number 3, the DRS now gets enabled as GG a 134, now 133.458. Going out to James Mustang. Incredible pace there from James himself, but DRS now enabled. The drivers, I believe, they only get 2 goes with that rear wing open, but they're going to have to do basically a whole lap until the exit of turn 14 down to turn 1 to get that rear wing open. So if a Viper, which is doing an incredible job right now, keeps within a second, he's around about 5/10 within the car ahead, then he just should be able to get past into P2 and then maybe be a contender to win this sprint race. We'll see what happens there. James in a comfortable P4 at this moment of time, but does have a penalty towards his name, which I'm going to guess is for corner cutting. But we'll have a quick look and see what that's all about. And that's the wrong button, Flynn. Good job. That's the one we want. That's not the one we want. Okay, it was this one we wanted the whole time. James Mustang has got 5 seconds to his name. Was he caught speeding under the VSC? Who knows? Maverick, a 3-second time penalty. Probably going to be for corner cutting, which definitely isn't ideal. But all those two now going wheel to wheel. It's P1 and P2. Down the inside goes Nota to try and take the lead of this race. Now Viper, if he plays it smart, could try and get involved here. But I said he was trying to get involved. He's actually going wheel to wheel with James Mustang himself, trying to hug the inside line. These two going at it. Viper should get the detection zone of the DRS. Should be able to make just an easy sweep and back. Well, I say back, could make a move into that P2, but James Mustang going side by side, Viper going late on the brakes, into turn 1, takes the inside, basically attacks the curb, gets the better momentum, gets the better exit, now has the rear wing open as we go on board with Notor, and Notor, so close to contact. Viper trying to hang it around the outside and gets that move done for P2. Now, the gap in front of him is around about 2.3 of a second. Is he going to be able to try and close that gap? We'll find out as Mav now trying to go wheel to wheel with James Mustang for that P4 position. Was thinking of a late move there, but just thought the best of it and did back out of it, which was probably the smartest thing to do. And P6 and P7 still within range of each other, but you know, who's struggling with that damage more time will tell sooner rather than later. Viper up into P2 now. That's crucial for the Constructors' Championship. And yeah, it's crucial. Very, very crucial. So, oh, Mav, almost in the back there of James Mustang, which would have been very, very bad and a very big accident. But the top two, I say, Viper, starting to run away now. Hang on a minute. That was James Mustang very slowly there. It's like he had a moment, and he did actually have a moment, which really slowed him down, which definitely is ideal. Now, Maverick has the DRS on the car ahead. Is he going to go for the late move down the inside? He's going to go around the outside, late on the brakes, as late as he possibly can be. Wheel to wheel now. Takes the outside line, not the best line to be on, and unfortunately bit of contact there, and doesn't get the best momentum with the best run down into turn number 2. Holy moly, that was scary. I thought he was going to go for it, but he didn't. But now what's crucially happened here is that these two fighting ever so hard are 2 seconds away from Viper. But Mav, wow, that was a ballsy move around the outside there of turn number 4. Gets himself up into that podium position of P number 3. And then James Mustang now right on the gearbox of Notor. Is he going to try and go for a move? He is indeed into the chicane of 7 and 6. Bit of contact there, bit of wheel banging still going side by side. This is actually really helping, suffocating quite a bit to get involved in the action here. And someone else is off track as well. That's Jack Games at turn number 1, going completely straight on. Definitely not ideal, definitely not optimal. Those two going wheel to wheel now. Suffocate could try and make a big move, and he does. James actually giving him the help there, which isn't ideal because, you know, James and Webby on the same team. So James maybe try to hold up Suffocator here, but not going to be able to because Suffocator get the better line, but is a bit of contact there. But they both keep it clean into turn 13 and 14, even though there was a bit of a bump and pass. But Ollie does return the position, but he's actually quite smart about it because in doing so, he's given the DRS and given it to himself, so he'll get a better line, hopefully outside number 1 and Viper. Viper, out of all the people, has set the fastest up in this race. As Ollie, look at turn number 1. Is he going to go down the inside? He was thinking about it, but just wasn't close enough. Does have that front wing damage, which isn't really going to help him as much. But we'll see. On the run, down to turn number 2 and 3. He doesn't make the move as someone has of the session. And unfortunately, there is going to be no tour, which does mean that's going to be an easy pass for Wobbin McQueen up into P number 6 now. Absolutely crazy. So a lot of action happening to hit at F2, but mostly you could say in the top 5, and Bob McQueen around about 1.1 away from suffocating, but having that damage on his right winglet, which is missing. You could see there on the broadcast. It looks like he's struggling just a bit because all of these are a lot of the right hand corners, so he's not having the best of days. I really do feel his pain at this moment of time. If we run away though to the top 2, which is Viper trying to hunt down the magnificent GG Land, the gap is around about 1.7 of a second, and Notor is back in the session, which is lovely to see. And Jack Games into the pits to change to a set of the tyres I'm unsure with, and he has completely been lapped between, you could say, the whole entire field, which is absolutely crazy. But sometimes it does happen. You just got to get your head down and see what you can do to the end of this race. He's P number 9 though, so I believe he is unfortunately missing out on points. And oh my goodness, someone going completely wide there, and that was indeed GG Land going very, very wide on the exit of turn number 3 towards 4, and in doing so, a crucial error. He's got a 3-second time penalties. At this moment in time, Viper is your net race leader, which could be very, very, I'd say, good here, decent. Because if he keeps it clean, he'll win the race. If Viper can get in front of GG, is he going to try and hold up and bunch the pack up again? Only time would tell, but probably won't. Probably try to run away with the race win to maximize the points for Campos. Suffocating, if he keeps it nice and clean and tidy, P4 on the cusp here, obviously, because James was saying a 5-second time penalty, and then if never mind, I was going to say so, but our field now is going to bunch up as Jack Games has DNF'd from the session, has an accident at turn, I'd say, number 4. He's out of the sprint, so he'll be back in the feature. GG Land, a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Absolutely crucial. That's definitely not ideal, definitely not optimal, but that's a position for suffocating James. Bob McQueen. Notor does make his way into the pit lane, and this actually does help out Brisbane, as look how far back Brisbane is. Right, okay, so Viper is your race leader now. Mav in a comfortable P2, James in a P3, suffocating in P4, Rob McQueen in P5, GG Land about to exit the pits very, very shortly, and unfortunately, 5-second time penalty. And I believe, yeah, he'll be in P6, Norta in P7, Brisbane in P8, and then Chin down in P number 9. Mr. Phoenix Fear, hello, hello, how you doing, buddy? Welcome on in, how you doing? Good, good, good. You join us on lap number 8 out of 14. We just had a crucial safety car. You know, towards the end, I'd say, of lap number 7. So, yeah, not ideal, but it is what it is. I'm not too bad, thank you for asking. I'm doing okay, I'm doing alright. Just, you know, hanging out with the F2 a lot today. On F123, you know, because it's a good game. And then, I believe maybe next season, we may do F124 with the brand new cars that got added to the game. But it just depends on what, you know, on what the drivers want, if you get me. Yeah, basically to see what happens. But it's just a lovely, patient and waiting game. Right then, I guess we could run down the grid order, because why not, as the safety car might be in within this lap if Brisbane manages to catch up. So, here we go then. Viper in P number 1 at this moment of time is known for bottling left, right and centre, but if he keeps it nice and tidy, he should be A-okay. Maverick in a P2. He is also fast, but sometimes like to bottle as well. So, you know, we could see a nice fight between Maverick and Viper. James Mustang doesn't bottle, is fast, uses all his pace at the beginning of the restart, which you want to do. But then a lap or two later, you could say loses all his pace, which isn't ideal, but not too bad. But obviously Maverick and James have a time penalty towards their names, so they're going to lose quite a lot of positions here. That does help out Suffocating, which would promote him to P2. It'd be a Campos 1 and 2, which is good for the team. And then Rob McQueen down in P5 also helps him. He'll be taken off a P number 3. But it depends what happens, because, you know, anything could happen. Obviously, Suffocating and Wobby, both rivals for the championship this season once again. And it's Suffocating ahead of Wobby. But there won't be a massive points loss here unless Wobby makes a crucial error somewhere on the track. Glad you're doing good. I won't be joining. I am broken at the moment, as I told Mav earlier today. Oh no, Phoenix. Well, hoping something major, and hoping for a speedy recovery. Yeah. Yeah, you'll be fine. I'm sure you'll, you know, have a decent, quick recovery. Because why not, you know? Because why not? Right then. Lap number 10. Out of 14. 4 more laps of hard racing to go. Never mind, that's a bluff, that's a lie. It's going to be 3 more laps of racing to go, if my calculations are correct. Or it could be 4. I'm not too sure. Right then, safety car. In this lap, and I must say, it's going to be a crucial restart for Mr. Viper himself to see how he does. And I'll be back in the rig in no time. No worries, Mr. Phoenix. Speedy recovery on your knee. But anyways, then Viper rounding turn number 14. We're going to go on board with James Mustang himself and see what his restart is like. And I believe Viper has gone. Green. And yellow flags at the back of the grid. Someone has spun around. I believe that is going to be GG Land that spun around at turn number 14. Definitely ideal. Down the inside goes James on Mav. Those two going at it with someone on the outside or something. That's suffocating. Going up into P2 already. A crazy restart. James Mustang late on the brakes, trying to take the inside line for the next corner. Ollie tried to hang it in there. Still wheel to wheel. Does back out of it. Does get 3-second time penalty. 4 multiple warnings. That's definitely not ideal. Now his rival Robin McQueen behind in P number 4. If he keeps it nice and clean, then he'll be singing and dancing and up into P2 himself. But that is not ideal. That's a big error from suffocating himself for, you know, could have been, you know, trying to close down the lead to the points in the championship, but he'll lose out just a little bit. So now all he could hope for and all he could do is try ever so hard to get ahead of James Mustang here and pray for the DRS to be on very shortly, which will be lap number 13. The DRS will be re-enabled. Maverick here, trying to look for a move on Mr. Robin McQueen. Of course, Maverick with no wing damage, and Robin McQueen carrying some very hefty damage. So that could be a bit of a problem as we make our way down into turn number 1, but we'll see what happens with that. But as we look back towards the back of the grid, Notar just sneaking in under that 1 second gap, and Brisbane 1.4 away from P6, so not able to sneak in just yet. But GG Land 132.360, but unfortunately having that spin drops him all the way to P number 8 in this race so far. Still on board, Mr. Math himself. Robin McQueen looks like he's starting to struggle now, and the gap to suffocating and James is opening up to around about 7 to 6/10 of a second. So it's going on. It's all crazy. It's GG. Oh, big contact there between Wobby and Mav. Mav going for that move and getting up into P4 now. That's not going to help Webby out whatsoever, but that could help out suffocating if those two keep fighting just quite a bit, because the gap between suffocating and Mav is now closing in, and before that it was obviously increasing, but now it's around about 5/10 of a second. Wobby won't be happy with Mav getting up into P4 and ahead of him, but it's not too bad and it's not too shabby because Robin McQueen has no penalty, so he's got 3 positions. He's got 3 positions here, so he can make up a couple of positions and get more points suffocating and outscore him. It's as simple as 1, 2, 3. As we've got wheel-to-wheel action happening at the back of the grid, and that's Notar and Wobby going at it down to turn number 1. Is there going to be any contact? Robin McQueen late on the brakes. Notar has that inside line though with a brand new front wing, so we'll be able to make corners just a little bit better. And as well, I've realised that Nota does not have a time penalty to their name, and a bit of rear locking problems going on there for Robin McQueen himself. Now down in P6, now Prison maybe trying to challenge here for P6. Robin McQueen could be under humongous pressure here. I do apologise, I don't know why my English is dying, but it is what it is, and it happens most of the time. But oh my god, chat, it is all going on. Lap number 13, the penultimate lap of the sprint race. 14 towards very shortly. If James can get within a second, which he has, and then does creep away out of a second, if he keeps within that second, he could get the rear wing open on the final lap. I believe it's been enabled. I can't remember from the top of my head, but we'll see on the run down to turn number 1 very shortly if he gets a dose of that DRS, if he keeps within a second. But at the moment, it looks like he cannot. Isn't ideal, and he's now snuck back within a second, but was it enough? And it doesn't look like it was, which is definitely not ideal. So that's quite unfortunate there for James Mustang. Could have got the rear wing open. Now Mav, has he got the rear wing open? He has got the rear wing open, and right on his gearbox is Nota on that soft compounded tyre, which is actually really working out for him, going wheel to wheel now with Mr. Maverick himself down into turn number 1 around the outside. Will have the better momentum and the better grip than Mr. Mav, and he will not get to the P4. Mav is showing the shoulders and showing the aggression and the grudge and the nudge, and he is fighting really hard here. Robin McQueen around about 1.6 away from P number 5 at this moment of time, suffocating crucially in that 3 second window, so he will lose a position to Robbie if it keeps going that way, which isn't ideal, but like I say, it does happen, so it won't really help out much in the championship. But what will go someone's way today, which I wasn't expecting to win the sprint in particular, is the wonderful Mr. Viper Strikes, making his way now through the final couple of corners of turn number 12 towards turn number 13 very shortly. Mav right on the gearbox of suffocating, trying to do all he can, but we're going to turn our attention to Mr. Viper racing for Campos. Maximum points for Campos in the sprint today. He will cross the line to take another win and another victory in Phoenix in the sprint for Hungary. Viper is your race winner for the sprint. James Mustang, a 5-second time penalty for an unserved penalty. GG Land as well. And looking at the reorder of the penalties being applied and sorted, we'll have a look in a few moments. But we did see suffocating P number 4, and just ahead of him is his rival, Mr. Robin McQueen, who gets driver of the day. Robin McQueen in that P number 3 slot, as we have a look at the standings in just a moment. Have a look at the celebration very quickly and then skip away. And there it is. There it is, chat. Penalties applied. Viper in that P1 position, 10 points to his name. Notar racing for Carlin, 8 points. Bob McQueen, 6 points, and he's in P number 3, and then suffocating P number 4. So not losing much in the championship, I'm not too sure, but I don't think he's losing a lot, which is good. And then of course we've got Prison in that P5 position with 3 points, James in that P7 with 2 points, and as well Mr. Maverick in P number 6 with 3 points, and then GG Land bottling it on the restart down in P number 8, but with the faster lap as well. So not too bad, not too shabby, but did have 14 seconds to his name for speeding in the pit lane. Yeah, definitely not ideal. I wouldn't recommend speeding in the pits. Just saying, it's let's say not a good thing. Like I say, we're just waiting for drivers to sort their setups out, make any crucial changes to their name. and we'll crack on. Any predictions in the chat, like I keep saying, feel free to let me know. But yeah. My prediction is that driver that driver will win the race. Okay. Interesting. Here we go then. There's a 5 red lights here at Hungary. It's lights out and away we go. It's a very good start for Suffocating. A very good start actually on that soft compound tyre. Robin McQueen on the same set of tyres. But into turn number 1, he's not going to make the move, or he was looking to make the move, but does make a little bit of a big mistake. And that does put Mav literally almost side by side with himself and Wobbie. Wobbie doing the best he can and getting out of the way and not getting in any bother or action, and now can run away in that P2 position. Anyways, then James having a bit of a scrap, but there's a big scrap happening at the back of the grid, and that's Viper down in P7, Notor in P8, and GG down in P9. Those two all going at it. Track on, track in, track out, whatever you want to call it. It's all happening. And yeah, let's see. Time will tell what will happen. And yeah, all keep it nice and clean on the first lap of racing. No major issues, no major carnage. But in sector 2, about to head to sector 3 very, very shortly. Like I say, it's been a very tidy, clean lap. It's a bit weird. I thought it'd be a bit more crazy, but maybe they've all learnt their lesson, I'd say. As we've got Viper trying to make that position up into P6. Bit of lag going on, I see there. So Viper actually in that P6 position now, and we're behind Prison, but is 1.7 away. Of course, they've still got 2 more hard racing laps until the DRS does get activated. A 1 minute 35.409 going out to Suffocating. The fastest lap of the race so far. Only lap number 2, but still a very good lap then. Oh, James Mustang into the rear of Mav there. That could potentially be front wing damage for James himself. Prison trying to look around the outside, but James going way too deep there. Prison taking the inside line now. Down to turn number 3. Towards where we go. Gets a tremendous exit there. Now a side-by-side, wheel-to-wheel. Who's going to be late on the brakes? Around the outside, Prison gets that move done, but might got a track limit warning there. Might have. I'm not saying he did. Just might have got a warning there. So we'll see what happens with that one. But that's already helped Viper out. He's back in the DRS range of a second. So if he can keep it nice and tidy, he could try and make some moves here at Hungary. And get up into the top 5. I presume he's got the pace if he won the race. So that shows some pace right there. But Notar still not in the session. And will continue to drop down the grid of the order. And what's actually crucial here is that for a moment, Suffocating has broken that 1 second window. Maybe Bob McQueen is just being a little bit nicer and a bit more careful on his tyres as we make our way down to turn number 1. Bob McQueen is gaining and gaining and gaining. A 1 minute 31 point, I believe it was 6:37. And that's going to Suffocating. Fastest lap once again going to him. And the gap is open by a second, but McQueen looking fast in Sector 1. Sector 2, Suffocating looks a little bit stronger. And in Sector 3, they're even. They're 50-50, you could say. 50-50. Right then. Not much action happening elsewhere on the grid at the moment. We've almost got a 1, 2, 3, 4-way battle. All fighting, you could say. For P number 4. It's all going on, and Notar is back in the session, which is good. But he's back. He could try and get his head down in this race. He's got a lot of work to do, though, if he wants to try and make his way back up the grid order. So he'll be hoping for a safety car. I'm telling you now. So let's see what happens. Down to turn number 1. DRS enabled. Maverick is under attack here. Is under threat. But keeps that P3 for now. But crucially, switch back off the Sentry maybe for Brisen. Go on board of himself. Or hugging that inside line there. Could get another easy, tasty move. Maverick, we can see there on the medium compounded tyre. So Brisen, only lap number 4, will have the advantage of the better tyre at the moment. But still stuck behind Maverick. Maybe those mediums are starting to come into play. Because, you know, at Hungary, the tyre wear is really, really bad. But on lap number 4, the top 2, back of in the second, and then it jumps away. So maybe those two going at it, and Wobby's pushing too hard, and Suffocating's getting the better of the doubt, maybe? Who knows? But yellow flags, someone has spun around, and that is going to be... I think it was Jack Games who went off. I don't think he's not even in the lobby, so yeah, not ideal. As we make our way through turn number 1 very, very shortly, and now saying that hitting turn number 1 now, and Will McQueen did get the rear wing open there. He will get a double dose of the DRS, which will pull him in. Brisen not able to get into that P3 yet. He's really getting held up here. And was thinking about that cheeky lunge. Hugging that inside now. You can tell he's getting frustrated and annoyed. Stuck behind Maverick. And then James Mustang is starting to get involved as well. And Viper as well. Not sticking his nose in just yet. You could say playing it smart and waiting for the carnage to evolve. And what's actually surprising me here is that double dose of DRS. Webby McQueen is now on the gearbox already of Suffocating. So that was some tremendous pace throughout Sector 1 and in Sector 2. But you know, it's a bit crazy how, you know, maybe Ollie made a mistake, who knows, but that is some pace. He's got some pace to show, which is good. That could be threatening towards the end of the race. But what's actually interesting is that the top 2 they're running away, but not by much. Not by much. But there's no way Will McQueen's going to go this far back. There's no chance. Nowhere near close enough. We'll stay behind for now. Brisen gaining on the car ahead, but not gaining enough. Maverick doing a stellar job here, just saying. Staying in that P3 on the medium compounded tyre, which he is. The only 2 drivers, GG land down in P10. An early box for him. Rest on the soft tyres. They should be starting to die off now. I'd say. Let's see what happens here. Viper, oh, he was looking for a move up the inside into the chicane. Does make James Mustang slightly go offline, but it isn't enough. Still wheel to wheel now. Like I say, Brisson needs to get better exits, but I believe his tyres are starting to fall off the cliff. As we saw in the background as well, which I forgot to mention, Viper getting a 3-second time penalty, hand slam dunk to his name for track limits. These two, I can't tell who's got the pace at the moment on the soft tyre. I can't tell if it's Wobby just chilling, sitting back, waiting for the right time to pounce, or if it's actually suffocating, pulling the trigger. But someone who has pulled the trigger is Notar, and he's into the pit lane now to get onto a set of these medium tyres. But 5-second time penalty, speeding the pit lane. You could say that's his race over. Dark Penguin 24, hello, how we doing, buddy? Welcome on in. Hope you're doing fantastic this evening. Yeah, not too bad and not too shabby. But how are you all doing? How you doing, Penguin? Hope you're well, buddy. In that P4, Brisson is. He looks like he's a little bit closer in this sector. So, could be just pushing a little bit harder, which he would want, because look how close he is this lap. Saying that, both race leaders are in the pit lane, following each other. Hopefully, none get caught for speeding, and they don't. Brisson, though, could take the race lead into turn 1. But not going to close up enough to do it. Yeah, I'm prepping for tomorrow's race. This one looks for a good battle for P1 and P3. Indeed it does. It's a good battle. It is a good battle. Lots and lots of action going on, you know, buddy. What race are you taking part in tomorrow, sorry? Is it, with the ACC lot? Oh, very nice. I'm guessing with the F1 cars that we're doing. It's actually pretty cool. But they are a pain to get used to, we'll say. As a Maverick, a 3-second time penalty. Multiple warnings. Not ideal. Not good. Look at Viper. That's a sign he must be making his way into the pit lane. ACC, do you mean AC? Or Asetek comp? As we've got yellow flags, VSC. Oh no. Oh no. Why did Viper not box there? That could have been a chance. Oh, damn. Not boxing. Interesting strategy call there. Would have been a nice pit stop as well, I'd say. Interesting. Ah, okay, Dark Penguin. What car are you driving, if you don't mind me asking? So, interesting call for the top 3s. We saw Brisson make his way into the pit lane for a fresh set of the medium compound of tyre. And believe will actually get ahead. Yeah, he does. Of Suffocating and Robin McQueen. So if they box there, Viper, James and Maverick, they would have been comfortably ahead of, you know, Bobby and Suffocating, but they didn't want to. So, interesting call there. But back to green flag racing. Viper, 0.8 of a second away from James Mustang. Is he going to be able to home in? Let's see. Ah, you're in the Ferrari. Very nice. I'm going to say, I've been driving the BMW this season. And so far, first 2 races, I've scored some good points, shall I say. Right. Surely they'll be in this lap, and they are in this lap. That's going to be James in, and Viper Strikes in this lap. In. Red switch, red switch. Slow button on, slow button on. They're in the pit lane. No speeding is going out to them. But where will they filter out? Prison will get ahead. Suffocating as well. Should get ahead on the fresher, older by a lap tyres, but warmer tyres around the outside. What a move that is. Wowzers. Up in to P number 2 he goes. And that's where his race net lead will be for now. 9 more laps of racing. What on earth is going to happen here? Right then. So, your net race leader is going to be Suffocating, who, you know, is just, you know, going to take the net race lead. So he'll be a P1 driver for now. Maverick will be in the pit lane shortly. And I believe Viper and James should definitely get ahead of him. For, you know, I believe James will be up into P4. And Viper will be up into P5. I love doing maths chat. I lie. I really, really hate maths. Oh. Mavs Day gets even worse for a 5-second time penalty. Onto the soft compounded tyre now. That could be his race over. It's now a very long, slow pit exit. Will he filter ahead of James Mustang? I think he will, actually. Oh, it's going to be tight on pit exit. Here comes Mav. Down at turn 1. Defends that inside line. And Mav, I'm surprised to say, with a 5-second time penalty plus a 3-second time penalty, he's up into P4. So, yeah. What do we say? What do we do? Oh my goodness, is all we could say, because that is quite insane. I didn't think Mav would be ahead, but somehow he's done it. Amazing. But there's your top 2 racers, Suffocating and Wobby McQueen, head to head in the championship so far. If you have a look at the point system, look here. So, Suffocating, my apologies, is leading the championship after round 2, which was Singapore, by 54 points. Brisbane in P2 by 53 points. And Wobby McQueen down in P3 with 42 points to his name. So, as it was earlier on, a point separated between Suffocating and Wobby McQueen. Wobby got P3, Suffocating got P4. Only a points loss difference, but this could be big wins an extended little lead to the championship, you could say, to Suffocating if he takes the win here for the featured race itself. But all time will tell between these two. We saw Wobby there in Sector 2. No, sorry, Sector 1. Go a little bit quicker than anybody else on track, so could potentially be the fastest driver with the momentum and with the pace on that fresh set, or old set you could say, of medium compounded tyre. But the gap is staying what it roughly was last lap, which is around about 0.8 of a second. And Viper down in P5, 0.6 of a second away from striking distance of attacking James Mustang for that P4, but does have a 3-second time penalty, I believe, to their name, and they do indeed. 3 seconds, Maverick of 8 seconds. That's a free position for Viper and James. So James could clearly say is already stepping up on the podium, but Maverick's 2.1 up the road. So, if Viper was to get ahead of James Mustang here and then run away after Mav, then you could say Viper could be on for a P3, which would be a very, very good day for Campos in the Constructors as they're leading it at this moment in time. They'll be very happy and grateful, you could say. Let's see what happens, as the fastest driver on track at the moment is Viper in Sector 1. He is really pushing the limits here and maybe trying to get into that P4 and respond, and then trying to run away from James Mustang. But like I say, only time will tell on that one. Wobby McQueen now within 0.6 of a second of Suffocating, but Suffocating probably taking it a little bit easier than Webby. You know, doesn't want to push the limits too hard or too fast or too aggressive. Keep with it on track, and then you won't get any warnings, which I believe Webby's pushing harder. Suffocating taking it a little bit more gentle and a bit more less aggressive. Because once you have completely done and dusted and got that 3-second time penalty, and your championship is right behind you, that's race win over, and potentially your lead point system cut down just a bit. So, see how those two get on towards the end of this race. Lap number 14 out of 19. Not many more late racing laps to go. Viper still crucially in that P5 position, stuck behind James Mustang. But obviously James with no penalty to his name, and Mav with 8 seconds. So if they keep going at this rate of pace and rate of knots, then, you know, it should be smooth sailing here on out. As we see Wobby, could see you say starting to put the afterburners on, starting to close in a little bit more quicker in sector something 2 or 3, whatever you call it. But James Mustang, a 3-second time penalty to his name, and Viper makes his way up into P number 4. Crucial move. And what's even more crucial, James, 3 seconds. It's a fight now for position on track for that P3 spot. That is what's crazy now. So let's see what happens. Lap number 15 now. Could be lap number 16. Never mind, it's lap number 15. Get myself confused, chat. Good on me. Good on you. Let's see what happens. Maverick and Wobby? Oh no. I think Mr. Wobby McQueen is having some internet problems because I've jumped back all the way into P3. I'm not too sure what's happened there. Ain't ideal. Ain't ideal. So, Viper in a P4. I want to say in a P3, but I'm not too sure. I can't remember from the top of my head. because I can't do maths off the top of my head. But James Mustang, quite close behind, in that P3, or P5, sorry, with 0.3 of a second behind is what I was trying to say, but still, getting confused. But let's see what happens, because that was not ideal for Mr. Bobby McQueen himself. I'm going to try and see if we can get some cheeky inside information on what on earth just happened there. Because he will not be happy with that one. Try and get an insight and see what happened. Yeah. He is in that P3 slot at the moment on lap number 16. Gonna lose out on some big points. I mean, he'll still get that P2 in the race end, but he'd want to be fighting for P1. And at the moment, it's smooth sailing here on out for suffocating. Just running away now. So, not a great day. Bobby McQueen was probably okay in the sprint race, getting out of P3, but contact at turn number 1 on the start of the sprint, not the best either. So yeah, it's not really been smooth sailing for some of these drivers today. You could say it's been a bit frustrating and a little bit annoying for them. You could say mixed feelings. Oh, hello. We have a James Mustang losing the DRS now to Mr. Viper. How about that, eh? How about that? That is something you don't see every day. I'm only joking. You see that every day. Has risen now. 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings on a circuit. Chat, it's all going on. Excuse me, my voice box is absolutely dying, shall we say. But let's see what happens here. Lap number 17 out of 19. And Viper's another planet. Viper has disappeared, ladies and gentlemen. Viper is gone. So he may be, could say depleting or deploying all his battery now. Or not battery, because they got battery in the F2 cars. But you know what I mean. Deploying all that pace, running now to chase after Mr. Mav to get that P3 final spot. And if if Suffocating keeps it all nice and tidy, he'll be taking, I believe, his first race win of the season. I think. I'm not too sure. But we'll see what happens here. We'll play the patient game now. Lap number 18 approaching us very shortly. On board with Suffocating at this moment of time. James Mustang loses a second completely out of nowhere to Viper, but did drop within a second. So does he get the DRS? Ah, no, he does not get the DRS at all. That is unbelievable scenes. Never mind, he does get the DRS. I was about to say that is unbelievable scenes, Jeff, but never mind. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking, Dark Penguin. Imagine, right? Imagine. Penultimate lap of this race, then. We love to see it. Let's see what this entails and what this unholds here tonight at Hungary. 2 more hard racing laps to go. Who will be our race winner for tonight? At the moment, it looks like Suffocating running away in that P1 spot. Can Viper try and keep James Mustang behind and go for that P3? What on earth happened to Bobby? Only time will tell, because that was absolutely crazy and crucial as well. That's things you don't like to see when you have lag or something Moza Racing. So I don't think the stewards could really do much about that. So we'll see what happens. Keep your eyes peeled in the reports if it does get reported, but unlikely that it will get reported. Right then, suffocating, starting the final lap here at Hungary. If it keeps it nice and tidy, he'll be flying towards the end of this race with a race win again here at Phoenix and extending his championship lead, which I think he'd be very, very happy with. So, let's see then what happens. Into the first couple of corners at Sector 1. Nice and tidy. Not getting it too crazy, shall we say. And GG Land now been disqualified from the session. Failed to use the correct compound attire. Yeah. I was not expecting that one, shall I say. That's something quite you don't see every day, shall we say. Quite. Yeah, we'll go with quite, chat. Quite it is. Quite. We love the good old saying of quite. But anyways then, as we look forward to the rest of the field, there is not many battles going on left, right and centre. But all we can say is that suffocating, rounding the final corner now on turn number 13. And then, as always, towards turn number 14. He is going to cross the line to take another win here tonight at Phoenix, which is a spectacular dominance performance here. And he wins the race here in P1, Maverick in P2, Robin McQueen in that P3, but should move up to P2, and Viper as well should, and he doesn't actually get within enough range to take that P3 away, but he'll come home in P4, James in P5, Brisen in P6, crossing the line very, very shortly. But Jack Games, P7, Notar, P8, and then Chin making his way out the pit lane. But he is done. Just waiting for Jack to cross the line very, very shortly. And that'll be a race done and dusted for this evening. I really thought Viper would get, you know, E3, but he missed out by 0.8. But hey, what can you say except you're welcome, can you, chat? Apologies there, still recovering from a hefty cold, so I will try my best to do a quick rundown of this evening's race. And it looks like the feature is done and dusted. There you go, this classification. Suffocating takes the win here at the feature. Wobby in P2, Maverick in P3, Viper in P4, James in P5, Brisen in P6, Jack Games in P7, Notar in that P8 position, P9 for Chin, and then GG Land a DSQ from the session. And that is it, done and dusted for this evening. Hope you guys enjoyed, and make sure to join our Discord down below. If you're not a part of Phoenix already, give us a follow to keep up to date with all the content we provide here at the channel. And as always, ACC done here by the wonderful Altosis will be live tomorrow, so make sure to stay tuned for that one. But from me, Mr. Flynn, that is it, all done and dusted. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.